Hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Amelia Buckley,
And I'm Summers McKay.
and we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, we have Amelia Today-worthy podcast. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd of March, 2021. Hello, my dear. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. This side of the fence, I should say.
Good morning. It's good to be on the mic.
I am excited you're here. How are things going? I'm sure the world is in dire need of an Amelia update. How are things going in your young, ambitious, not bitter second home with 300 children life?
Things are good. This weekend we had our first real warm weather of the year. So went to the beach twice actually, which was really nice. I went for a super long hike. I have a friend whose dog that I walk when I go hiking. So I took the dog for a walk. And that's about it. Last night I made some delicious Thai noodles. We tried a new recipe with my roommates that was really yummy. So I'm having a good week so far.
You are. I like it. I like the idea of a super long hike. Where were you hiking?
I went up, there's an area of Santa Barbara called Rattlesnake Canyon that's up
Mm-hmm.
kind of in the mountains of Santa Barbara. And so if you actually start at the bottom, you can hike all the way up to this pretty cool rock climbing spot at the top. So I hiked up the canyon to this rock called Gibraltar Rock and got to check out the rock climbers doing their thing. It was
Oh,
really nice. I'd never gone all the way up the canyon to the top before, so it was a cool new hike that I hadn't done.
that is time well spent. I was in our pre-call chat, pre-recording chat, I was telling Amelia about my attempted exercise. First and foremost, I want to tell the universe and tell this woman who posts these yoga videos. Her name is Cassandra. It's called Yoga by Cassandra. And Cassandra, I just want to thank you for your yoga videos because they have become a tradition for my daughter and I. Brennan in the morning, when she wakes up, first she says slide down because she wants to get out of bed. Then she has to go give the dog a big hug. And then she turns to me and shouts yoga mats. And it is an absolutely darling and preposterous attempt of having me, who is so far from her yoga practice, doing my 10-minute videos. These were inspired by Kristy, who I believe was a Yoga by Cassandra devotee at the beginning of quarantine. So anyway, I think of the idea of going for a super long hike, and I am both inspired and also sort of horrified because I can barely touch my toes right now. But soon that will all change. Amelia was trying to convince me that it would be funny to film myself so everyone could see what it's like to have a toddler crawling all over you while you can't do yoga. But I think we'll wait a few months.
Mostly I just want it for the cute Brennan content.
She's pretty good. She's pretty cute. She's what I have is this incredibly ambitious and terribly clumsy child. And it's
Perfect combination.
exactly. And she's not unlike her mother in that way. I am likewise very ambitious and also quite clumsy. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do as a mom to increase her body awareness and body control at a young age so she doesn't end up old like me and just stumbles over shoes that are in her way. So
Yoga is a really good place to start for that.
yep, exactly. Yoga at 18 months is the way we're going to roll. So speaking of your weekend and ocean, originally you were going to come and do some surfing down by me and pick up some supplies, some stuff that we have for the Optimist Daily team over the weekend, but you decided not to because there weren't great waves. But tell us a little more about you and surfing. Have you always been a surfer?
I'm going to start with the disclaimer that I'm not a good surfer. I am an amateur surfer, but I started surfing occasionally in middle school and in high school for the first 2 years of high school. before sports got pretty rigorous, I would go out pretty much every weekend with friends and we just like drive out to the beach and mess around. I lived like 45 minutes from the beach and I still enjoy doing it, but I'm definitely not very talented or anything, but it's kind of perfect in Santa Barbara because the Channel Islands block the really big swell from hitting us here on the Central Coast. And so it's like these perfect little baby waves for me to longboard. So I love it.
I
And
love it.
the water is a lot warmer than Northern California. So I've been doing it more throughout college and then now trying to get back into it a little bit post grad.
One of my favorite things, so I'm not a surfer, but I am an ocean girl, and throwing on through my 20s and 30s, not so much my 40s because there was the baby that came, but several times a week would throw on fins and just go for a big open water swim. And
that's so nice.
It's just, there's something so anchoring and so peaceful about the ocean. And I think that kind of leads us to the stories on the Optimist Daily today. What ocean-inspired headline got you going?
So my solution I wanted to talk about is actually more of an animal solution than a human solution. We can't really take credit for it, but it's very cool nonetheless. So I actually have always wanted to swim with whale sharks. I know that you can do it in parts of Mexico, and it looks just so amazing. They're these huge creatures. They're the largest fish on earth, and they're beautiful and majestic, and they have these like gorgeous spots on them. It's something that I've always wanted to do. So I kind of jumped on this story today. Scientists observe whale sharks regrowing damaged fins for the time.
Say that again. Say that you cut out. Yeah.
Scientists observe whale sharks regrowing fins for the first time. So researchers from, I think it's the University of Southampton, actually were able to document a whale shark's ability to regrow severed dorsal fins for the first time. So this was something that they had an inkling that they could do, but hadn't actually seen it in action before. And so they're regenerating the tissues of their dorsal fins with their original markings on the injured fin, which is so cool because
crazy town.
That just sounds it's wild.
I mean, it sounds both incredibly interesting and like very cool for their bodies to regenerate, and then also just a wee bit terrifying. How is this happening? How are they? I guess it's cartilage, right? It's not bone, so cartilage can grow again. So how is this coming together? How are they regrowing these damaged fins?
I'm not really sure what the science is behind it, but yeah, it is cartilage, not bone, which makes it easier for it to regrow. And so the researchers have just documented this, so now they're studying it a little bit more in depth to understand the processes behind it. And they basically think that they're more resilient to injuries than they previously thought.
Where were these sharks? I mean, largely these sharks were being injured, and we certainly see injuries from these sharks because of shipping and boating and perhaps even tourism boating, right?
Yeah, so the sharks are actually more prone to injury because they're just so large that it's easy for them to get tangled up with human activities. So there's some injuries from boats, and then a lot of it is unfortunately the tourism industry. So I guess if I'm going to swim with the whales, I should look into the most sustainable way to do it.
Yes.
But there's other side effects from the injuries, like their inability to hunt and to find out food and protect themselves that are side effects from the injuries. So the researchers are now also looking into like how are they protecting themselves while they heal, and how are the healed whales doing in terms of wellness and survival compared to ones that were never injured in the first place. So it opens up this whole can of worms into whether or not, can other species of sharks do this as well? Like it opens up a lot of avenues for research that they're really curious about.
Exciting research, also partially probably like fodder for Sharknado 17. They're gonna heal their fins and grow wings, and it's just gonna happen. So I love this. The idea of swimming with whale sharks is amazing. I've done a lot of scuba diving in my life. We actually have a turtle, a picture of a turtle above our bed, like a painting of a turtle and of a sea turtle. The ocean is a place that I love to be, and I think diving with whale sharks sounds just amazing. Have you ever done any scuba diving, or is this are you more often than not a surface kind of girl?
Mostly surface. I've done some snorkeling and stuff on tropical vacations, but I haven't gotten into it here. My boyfriend actually loves to to dive off the Santa Barbara coast. He does snorkeling
Yes.
and he does some spear fishing and stuff like that, and wanting me to get out there, but I have to invest in some new fins and stuff before I can do that.
Well, getting scuba certified right about the age you are currently was one of my favorite things that I ever did, and it definitely opened up to a whole perspective on just the depth and fascination of the ocean. Scuba diving with at the Sea Lion Rookery, which is where the sea lions go to have their pups, out of Santa Barbara Island. Actually, off the Channel Islands, is one of my favorite scuba diving experiences ever. Even though it's a bit cold water, sea lions are pretty much like underwater sea puppies, and they're just so cute. So, well, my headline also goes into the ocean in a different way. This is using ocean sound waves to understand and predict earthquakes. So the headline reads, scientists use underwater cables to detect earthquakes and tsunamis. Obviously, earthquakes and tsunamis are some of the most destructive natural phenomena humanity faces. They are impossible to predict. And to make it easier, a team of scientists has recently come up with a technique that turns underwater telecom cables into earthquake detectors. Now, these cables are already in place. We are not developing new cables for them, but they are currently in place, and it's developed by Caltech seismologists and Google optical experts, with this new method that aims to make use of the vast network of submarine communication cables that are already there and develop a giant seismic network. 99% of all overseas data transmission goes through undersea cables, which most people wouldn't even know. So anyway, this development is particularly useful since current land seismometers and ocean seismic networks only provide incomplete remote coverage of data. It's not very useful. And, anyone who's in Los Angeles who has the earthquake app knows that, like, you get the earthquake warning like 5 minutes after the earthquake happened. So this is in large part, the reason this is better is because the shock waves can only move at the speed of sound, meaning there's little warning or event. And these pulses are more easily detected by these sound cables. So simply taking technology that's already in place, infrastructure that's already in place, and using it to collect more data, we're going to improve our ability to predict these phenomenons. Now, my concern or question on this article was, does it increase noise or other marine life damaging elements? And we don't know for sure. We're going to keep looking into that. But basically, over 9 months, they've detected moderate to large earthquakes along the cables, with the largest being they've detected 20 moderate to large earthquakes along the cables, with the largest being a 7.7 magnitude event off the coast of Jamaica. So lots of information from the great and unexplored sea. And I know Kristy, who is not here with us today because she's taking a little time off, is a big seafaring woman and would love these stories as well. Amelia, what else do we have on today's Optimist Daily?
We've got some other great stories. We love the bee stories. We've got a bee species last seen almost a century ago, found alive in Australia. So that's really cool. Similar to that kind of rare penguin story we had yesterday. We have a Northeastern project, shows how green infrastructure saves lives and money, and that one is a cool cap and invest program coming out of the Northeast. We've got 4 states collaborate to protect Delaware's river basin from fracking, and that's a major water source for habitats and drinking water, so that's a cool one.
Really exciting about that is we didn't have a typo in the headline this morning. We didn't call it franking.
Franking, no. What else do we have? I think there's a few others.
Yeah, there's a Northeastern project that shows how green infrastructure saves lives and money. Scientists
Keep going.
And let's see, bee species last seen in almost what?
I highlighted the ones we haven't done.
Okay, I just roll through. What one haven't we done?
Oh wait, they're at the bottom of the. We haven't done they're at the bottom of the Google Doc.
Got it.
Highlighted with
perfect.
Mike.
I see. Yeah, in pink. Okay. Teens nonprofit has donated 30,000 pairs of shoes to the homeless. Netflix launches a fund. Sorry, phone call coming in. Netflix launches a fund for creative equity to promote industry-wide diversity. 7 ways to make the most out of your almost empty condiment jars. That's funny because I was packing my pantry today, getting very angry at empty condiment jars. 3 strategies for buying clothes eco-consciously. And last but not least, a skyscraper design uses aquaponic terraced gardens to purify Shenzhen's air. All of these are great stories, and there's so much more, as always, on the Optimist Daily. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this very special episode with Amelia Buckley. We promise to continue to share positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
And please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com. And for just $5 a month, you can support reader-funded independent journalism and be part of the solution-changing consciousness and addressing our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Amelia. Have a great day, and tune in tomorrow for a very cool interview that I think you'll enjoy. Take care, guys.
Bye.